And I would say in today's world, students, young people, all of us need a place to belong more than ever. And so to have that and have it be a positive experience is really where we see that transformational experience for our students.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Missions That Made Them. I am your host, Jason Verdelli. This isn't just a podcast, but rather it's a movement. It's a movement designed to make the world a better place by bringing more awareness to the great work of the people and organizations making a difference, and more importantly, how you can help. We live in a world today surrounded by a narrative in the media that focuses in on negativity and draws attention to the problems, but not the solutions. Our guests represent the solutions, not the problems. And with that, I am super excited today to announce our guest, Allison Rickels with FarmHouse Foundation. And what these guys are doing is just absolutely incredible. I love what they're doing to develop the future leaders of tomorrow. She's going to talk about how this ties into the fraternity and everything else. So I really think, researching organizations to interview and everything, and who we invite to be on the podcast here, we really try to focus in on organizations that are a part of the solution. They're a part of the better tomorrow. And really, the FarmHouse Foundation really does represent that. So I'm super excited, Allison, to have you on today, and welcome.
Thank you very much, Jason. I'm pleased to be here. And pleased to be asked.
Fantastic. Well, let's jump right in. So tell everybody here what FarmHouse Foundation is, and we'll take it from there.
Sure. So a lot of people think that they know a fraternity or sorority and maybe go to the negative of what those organizations are. And I get to do the great positive work of fraternity on a daily basis. So FarmHouse Foundation is the educational foundation that supports FarmHouse International Fraternity. We have chapters on 40 campuses across the country, as well as one in Canada, and about 1,600 to 1,700 students that are members of our organization. We have about 30,000 living alumni, so a smaller organization than a lot of national fraternities, but we are doing phenomenal things with our students, and so I'm excited to share about them. Our mission is to cultivate donor passion and support of FarmHouse Fraternity and their mission, and to help our students achieve excellence. And so we do that in a number of ways through the educational programming the fraternity provides and the funding that our donors make possible.
Yeah, and really investing into the future leaders of tomorrow, right? And investing into investing into a better tomorrow, as I see it. So, Allison, tell us a little bit about some of the programs, some of what makes FarmHouse Foundation so amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were founded by our fraternity in 1965. I love sharing this story because they took $2,000 from the fraternity's board to start the foundation. And really the purpose was to provide scholarships and leadership opportunities, grants for educational programming to better our students. And we continue that today. The foundation really was small when we first got started, but today our assets are over $26 million. We're one of 54 men's fraternities, and we're in the top 10 when it comes to total assets. We raise about $2 to $3 million a year for educational purposes for our fraternity. And again, in about the top 10 for dollars raised, and more so in, we always hit it out of the park in terms of engagement. We have about 11% of our members, so alumni students that are giving on an annual basis, when a lot of organizations are around the 3% between universities and Greek organizations.
Why do you think that?
We have a...
I was going to say, why do you think, real quick before we go on, why do you think that's 11% is the normal alumni kind of donation or alumni or giving back from alumni, or the normal one is what, 3%? Sorry, and you're at 11%. Why do you think that is?
I think FarmHouse is a niche organization. We have a lot of differentiators, and our alumni typically have really good experiences. And even those that maybe have a little bit of a more challenging or unique experience still want to invest in our students because they believe in the work that we're doing. And so I also think being a smaller organization, we have a lot of affinity and touch and engagement with our volunteers and our donors. And so they easily can get access to, say, me or our staff if they have questions, or, we're readily available, but also stewardship is extremely important. And something I do a lot of presentations and some workshops and things on. And so I think that also helps, is that being able to share with donors how their dollars are being used often gets them to come back, right? And so we work really hard on that, so that they understand that how their gift is designated is being used for that purpose, and then showing them through our students, through testimonials, through anecdotes, through the research that we're doing. So in terms of educational programs, we have a real variety for our students, and we're working to add more to be a true co-curricular experience with universities. So it's everything from incoming officer training to what's called an emerging talent retreat that's for new students, to a program we call the Power 7, which is an intergenerational experience with students and alumni, to lots of local programming, as well as we award about $180,000 a year in scholarships for our students. Housing is technology or another areas of support for our students.
That's incredible. That's incredible. What makes, in your mind and what you've experienced, what makes a fraternity great? And obviously your organization has done this extremely well and has been world-class in this. But from your standpoint, though, what is that? Is it the educational side of things? Is it just the opportunities that they have to be a part of a group? What's the big benefit, you think, for students?
I think it's both of those things. I think that more than anything, when you go to a college campus, you're often going to a place that's bigger than your hometown. In particular, for our students, about 60% of our students come from rural backgrounds. FarmHouse is an agriculturally related organization, but not all of our members are majoring in agriculture. About 33% of our students are, but a large amount come from rural communities. So they're coming to a university. We're primarily on land grant universities or regional universities that have 15,000 plus students. So they're coming to a campus that is far larger than what they're used to in their hometown. And so I think students are often attracted to a Greek organization for a sense of belonging. And I would say in today's world, students, young people, all of us need a place to belong more than ever. And so to have that and have it be a positive experience is really where we see that transformational experience for our students. We've done a number of research initiatives within our organization through some student assessment, as well as nationally through the North America Interfraternity Conference on well-being, on mental health, as well as belonging. And the research is really positive, in that 80% of students that were recently studied in a Gallup poll said that they had higher or excellent well-being and mental health. And if they need help with mental health or personal wellness, they know the resources or the people to lean on. And again, that's probably one of the biggest challenges, mental health in our country right now, especially for young people. And so to have that in a place that you have friends, peers, people that can hold you accountable and you can rely on, I think is so important today. And we see that in a number of other research. We've done things, like I said, with Gallup. We've done other national studies that are really proving that fraternal experience, when done correctly, when it's a positive experience, it's really putting the student, they're going to school first and foremost, and to be that co-curricular partner is when it's done really well. And our students feel like they have, can obtain leadership skills, can help them advance, have networking opportunities, have ways to grow and be, as we say, the best version of themselves. That's when they say it's transformational. And I get to see that on a pretty regular basis with our students, and then hear from alumni that say that too.
I think it's so important too, that socialization is huge, right? That's a big part of, I think, the solution not only for mental health, but also for just interacting with the community, right? So if you're in
Absolutely.
school and you had this experience, I was, when I was in school, I wasn't a part of a fraternity, but I was part of the baseball team. And, that was, although it wasn't considered a fraternity, it kind of was. It was a social group. We shared a common goal. We spent a lot of time together, those things. And a lot of these guys, you end up friends with and you stay in touch with 3 years down the road. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that's really it. I think that is a big part of the solution today is getting involved into groups. And now, especially with, the pandemics make that hard to do if you're, it sort of has isolated a lot of people. For sure. Even myself, just knowing how many times I used to go out to lunch with people and everything else. And I'm just kind of getting back into the swing of things, so where do you see, so you have, students that are going through the fraternity and what are some of their experiences? What are some of the things that they say after they graduate and maybe also why they continue to support the organization?
Yeah. I mean, it's everything from I got my first job because of a connection I had. I met my spouse because of the fraternity experience. I hear that from a lot of our older alumni, that, that was a part of their college experience. And, had a mentor. Those are really important. We are launching a new mentor program. And that's one of the things our students are saying that they want, that they don't get in college, just from the university experience. They want a mentor to learn from. And finding one is a little tough when, it's, you're not going to say, hey, Jason, will you be my mentor?
Right.
It needs to be a bit more organic than that. And so putting them in those networking and career aspirational opportunities is really important. And so what our students tell us, whether that's through testimonials or we have them do thank you calls to alumni, is that everything from some of the best ones that I read this year were I found a place to belong. And it sounds maybe redundant to what I said, or somebody believed in me. Somebody gave me a chance to be a leader. And, you probably have those experiences in high school, but maybe different than, say, a sports team where you're relied on to be an athlete. To be a leader in a fraternity experience, you're managing a business. A lot of our chapters have budgets of $500,000 and above, or they have 70 young men that are all living together. They might have a house mother or a residence advisor that's living there that's another adult to help with the chapter, but they really are managing businesses. So we're teaching them those business skills. Wow. So a lot of them say, I'm learning how to be a leader that I wouldn't otherwise have that opportunity. I'm learning how to manage a budget. I'm dealing with peer pressure. I'm understanding how to coach a peer of mine if maybe they're, not going to class and I want to help hold them accountable. A number of them say I can continue to stay in school because of the scholarship I've received, or I didn't have to take out another loan or get a second job. I mean, those are really important to help continue their education. I have a safe place to live that's clean. Yep. Our chapter houses are alcohol free. And so I think that sets us apart. And so to have those experiences for our students is really important.
Oh, yeah.
And we're seeing that story on a regular basis from them to say, what this experience is doing for me really matters. And I've seen young men come in as very green, immature, I guess maybe is a better word, young men, to then get to see them when they graduate, maybe have been with them or met them, experienced some leadership conferences that we have together. And then you see them get their first job or see them get married and have a child, or all those experiences. It's fun, Facebook or other social media, you can keep up with our students. And again, being a small organization, we get to know them a lot better. It's pretty cool to see that transformation and then see them become donors. It's that full circle moment. And I've had a number of them I've been on staff for 21 years, so almost 21. So I've gotten to see those experiences over time. It's pretty powerful.
The number you said to $500,000, or sorry, $500,000 or so. That's what they're managing.
Yeah, some of them. Yeah. locally, and
Yeah.
that's besides, say, the budget that, say, our fraternity has. But they are managing rent for the chapter house. Every member will obviously pay to live there,
Sure.
but dues. They're putting on events. They're really functioning as a group together, and it takes money
Yeah.
to do that. And so they're having to oversee that and manage it and how they're going to spend it. And it really truly is a business that they're learning how to manage on their own. So it teaches them to be entrepreneurs too.
Yeah.
A lot of them, for sure.
That's well, I think that's huge because you don't always learn that firsthand in school, right? School, you're being taught that.
Not at all.
Yeah, you might have to do a presentation, or you might become part of a project. But when you put it into practice, one of the things that I've always learned through my career too, in my business ventures and that type of thing, is that, man, what you learn in school is a great foundation, but what you put into practice
Absolutely.
is really actually when you're learning. Because you're hands-on, everything. And man, if you can get that at a college experience, but also within an organization that has a great structure, a great process, and has really done it right, which again, everybody, if you're watching this, if you just go to their amazing website, which I can't get over how amazing this thing, your website looks. FarmHouse.org, easy to remember there. Check them out. You can see everything that they're doing, all the programs, all of the resources, and everything that they're providing. But I think that's just, that's it. I think that big part of the solution in the world really is getting hands-on, where students can get hands-on, they can be a part of something entrepreneurially, I guess you could say. And then even if they don't go the entrepreneur path, they can at least understand those same principles, because those same principles apply to your home life, right? You manage a business,
Absolutely.
you manage a relationship, or you manage a budget at home, or even just if you're managing a budget at work. Not managing an entire business, but you have a budget there. All of these things are very transferable, as I would see it, right?
Absolutely.
Skills.
Well, for sure. And really, for our chapters that are very successful is because of the alumni that are volunteering with them. So done right, our chapters have alumni volunteers locally. They have chapter advisors. We have what we call associations. They're a board that really oversees and owns the chapter house and manages that with them in concert. And so they're getting mentors directly that are doing it because they believe in the organization and they want it to be successful for those young men. And so absolutely, it's a whole concerted effort that, when done right, is an incredible and powerful experience. And what's really neat is that when you have a legacy, so a young man that their parents or their father or their grandfather were in the chapter, and then that student joins, is a really pretty cool full circle too.
Yeah, they have the great experience. You pass that knowledge along, you pass the experience along. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a part of that, especially if it's an amazing experience and it's impacted their career, their personal life, and everything else. So Allison, how does somebody, obviously I know you're very alumni supported, right? So a lot of alumni are giving back. You mentioned about around 11%. How does somebody listening to this that really does believe in this model and really more or less believes in teaching students the entrepreneurial lessons and giving them the skills, but also everything else that you're doing, and believes in that to make this world a better place? I mean, how can they support you?
Sure. Certainly alumni are the biggest supporters of our organization. We also have parents that invest in the organization. So we reach out once a year and ask parents to make a gift in honor of their son, and then they can send them a care package and a note. Those notes are some of my very favorite to say, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of the friendships that you've made and the connections you've made on campus. So that's another group of donors that we have, as well as what we call friends. So people that are not a member, or perhaps they had a family member that was. We have a number of widows that continue to support the organization. In fact, I was with last week a woman that is 88. Her husband passed away a couple of years ago, and she said, I will continue to support FarmHouse for as long as I can, which is incredibly touching, because she wants to continue that experience for young men like her husband had that experience. So
Yeah.
I would say we're always seeking new donors and volunteers, and have a number of volunteers that are not members of FarmHouse that perhaps are chapter advisors or they're on a campus where we have a chapter. And so we would love to have people that are interested in supporting the organization to get in touch with us. And best way to do that is through social media or, as you mentioned, our new website.
Amazing website.
We'd love to have, yes, thank you. We'd love to have volunteers. You don't have to be a member to support the organization, but certainly that is our base. We don't receive outside funding. We don't support outside philanthropies, nor do we get, say, federal grants. But so certainly we're driven because of the donors that invest and believe in the organization.
Yeah.
So it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's extremely powerful. And as I see it, Allison, one of the other ways too other people can do is take this interview, take some of the points that you mentioned, we talked about, and share this video. Take the moment to share this video.
Yeah, please.
Subscribe. Main thing is check out their website, farmhouse.org, and learn about some of the different programs and really immerse yourself. I think if you're looking at, you want to feel better today, go to their website, because you'll start to see, here's what an organization is doing to be a part of the solution. They are really designing a fraternity in a better way, as I see it. They're really shaping the future of tomorrow's leaders and the world that we live in tomorrow and today, really, if you think about it. So even the work that the fraternities do. So with that, I think the best thing you can do is share this video. Again, subscribe to the Missions That Made Them here. We'll have a link down to their website below the video here, so you can check that out. And I think Allison, is there anything else before we jump off here?
I appreciate you asking me to do this podcast and sharing our story. And to your point, I think fraternity is a really positive, powerful experience. As I said at the beginning, often what people think of is that Animal House experience or the negative. But when you learn about organizations like ours, there are a number of the others that are doing the work to help students. I think it's really important, and I really think it can change lives and does change lives. I wish we had more positive press out there because, again, I'm somebody who had a phenomenal sorority experience and get to help students have a similar experience now and well into the future. And so we want to keep that going and appreciate those that do invest and believe in the work that we do. Yeah.
And it's, truly the amount of effort, the longevity of the organization, and it was 1905, it's been around. So, it really goes to show you how powerful that an organization like FarmHouse Foundation is the impact that you're making across generations.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think the more, I always say too, for listeners out there, you have the ability to be a part of the solution. You can share a video like this, and that's one way to be a part of the solution. You can go to farmhouse.org and donate. That could be another part of the solution if you don't have the time or the resources, or maybe if you don't have money maybe you don't have it in the budget or whatever. Get involved, volunteer, take some sort of action that's going to change tomorrow, change today, and become part of that solution. I believe we as the people have the ability to be a part of that solution. If we rely on other people to make it happen, you're going to be very unhappy. It's not going to happen that way. So if we can take control of that,
absolutely,
just like you have done, Allison, you run an amazing organization. You've taken control of the future. You've created the foundation for tomorrow. And, I think that is really the message that we're trying to get across here, across not only, from your organization, but other organizations throughout the world that are making great things happen, but we don't hear about them because these aren't always the things that are highlighted in the news, right? So sometimes the bad things about fraternities we see, but we don't always see the good side. And I think that's really the purpose of today, is to enlighten, give a little bit of enlightenment there to everything, and then checking it out a lot further and getting it. But more importantly is spending your time, not listening to podcasts and everything else. Get out there, get involved, become part of these organizations that are truly making a difference. And if you can do that, you are going to be a part of the actual solution that's going to make the world a better place. So, Allison, again, can't thank you enough for joining. And
Well, thanks, Jason.
Love to have you back on here too, and get a little update and
Happy to
cover some different topics. So,
I'd love that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, everybody, thank you for listening, and
Yes, thank you.
And we'll catch you next time.